Today is October 13, 2018. As you can see from this chart on the Dow Jones Industrial, it had a quake the last couple of weeks, ever since October 2nd, October 3rd, that it made the all-time high. It has pulled back substantially. Well, not really substantially if you consider, it's only 7.6% from its high. Right, since the October the 3rd, and back in the at the beginning of the year, the pullback in January was actually minus 12.23%, almost 12.25%. Right now, it seems to be pullback just a little bit over 7.5%. Okay, so but here are some of the levels that I'd be keeping an eye on the upside. The resistance would be somewhere around 25,800, and then on the support area on the downside, maybe somewhere around 24,858, 859 area, and the 23,997. Okay, so those are the support and resistance area that I'll be keeping an eye on for the Dow Jones Industrial. And then looking at the Dow Jones Transportation, the Dow Jones Transportation also given up 11% since the high back in May on September the 14th. Okay, now if you take a look at the early of this year, the pullback in January, it gave back 14.16%. So it's still a little bit less than the January pullback, but nevertheless, there's the velocity of this pullback that actually got the market spooked. It's not that big of a deal on the percentage-wise. Comparing to the beginning of the year. Okay, it's not something like we never seen before or haven't seen for quite a while. I mean, we saw that at the beginning of the year. Okay, so right now the support level that I'm watching is 10,080, and the resistance level would be 10,973, and the next resistance level is 11,253. So those are the two resistance level, and the support level down here is somewhere around this 10,080. And looking at the S&P 500, the S&P 500 also pulled back, gave back 7.83% from its high that was made back up here on September 21st. And looking back at the beginning of the year, back in January, the pullback was 11.84%. Okay, and here are some of the levels that I'll be keeping an eye on the support area. The first one is 2717.49. So don't take these numbers as an absolute number. Basically, just a region or the level somewhere around there that we keep an eye on the price action to see would it be able to chop around and bounce, or chop around and slide, or just cut right through it. Then if it cut right through and sliding down, then we basically are looking for the next level below for potential support, which would be 2683, and that one doesn't hold, then we're basically looking at 2594. Okay, now if it continue to push up, then we're basically looking for the resistance at 2795 to see what the price get rejected once it hit this level or somewhere around there, chop around and it get rejected and push back down. If it doesn't push back down and it's slowly bouncing off of this level, then the next level that I'll be looking at for potential resistance is 2864. And looking at the Nasdaq 100, the Nasdaq 100 gave back 10.5%. Now I know it seemed like it's much worse because we saw a lot of these, the FANG stock really got clobbered. So that kind of makes it feel much worse than it is, because if you look at it, back in the beginning of the year, there was a 12%. A little bit more than 12%, like 12.22, almost 12.25% pullback at the beginning of the year. And then in March, there's another pullback, which was also a little bit over 12%, is 12.02. So right now we just see a 10.5% pullback. So if it continue to pull back, the level that I'd be keeping an eye on would be this 6950, 6856, and the 6522. If it pushes up, then I'll be looking at potential resistance, which is pretty close right now at the closing level, somewhere around the 7158 and if it could push above that, then the next resistance level that I'll be watching will be 7308 and then the 7400. So those are the three resistance levels that I'll be keeping an eye on if it bounces back up, and these 6950 area will be the potential support that I'll be watching for if it come back down. And finally, looking at the Russell 2000, the Russell 2000 also kind of got hammered just like all the other indexes, and since the August 31st high, it pulled back 12.05%. And looking back at the beginning of the year, the January pullback is 11.09%. So this pullback, the recent pullback, is a little bit deeper than the January one. So right now the level of support that I'm looking at is 1514.90, and the resistance level is 1592, and above that will be 1611. And then the 1630 and 1652. So those are the four resistance level up there, and the one support level that I'm keeping an eye on is 1514.90 for now. So those are the indexes. So absolutely right now the market is still a little bit unstable. We haven't really stabilized yet on this pullback, so I'd be a little bit more cautious and probably stay on the sideline if you're not going on the short end. But right now it's a little bit volatile as well, so if you're going to do swing trade, make sure you open up the stop, okay, and make the stop wider and just kind of size your position down to smaller size.